Okay. Let's take a break from playing and let's break down why this patch is so awful. Let's just start by looking at Adventures video. Okay. I try to go to Adventures. Let me show you guys. This is not the adventure I know. 111k subs. More subs. Mogged, TBH.
Attack on hit.
I want to watch this because I haven't actually watched the visual comparison. This isn't like super comprehensive, I think, but it's something.
It's the Christmas season, and this holiday, Arxis has decided to hit us with a minor emergency balance patch to help reduce some of the frustrations with Season 4's balancing direction. There were a few minor system changes, but the ones we're concerned with is changes to Guard Crush. Guard Crush attacks were changed to be a consistent 25% of the damage you take from its corresponding attack on hit, significantly reducing the chip damage you take from blocking Guard Crush attacks. In addition, there were a large...
Did they show a comparison here? Oh, yeah. Dude, look at that. I'm going to hold my mouse here.
On hit, significantly reducing the chip damage you take from blocking Guard Crush attacks.
Literally have.
In addition, there were a large amount of damage nerfs across the board to reduce the explosive damage caused by the buffs to set attacks damage in Season 4. I'll bring these up each time we come across them. HVV had its clean hit damage reduced from 100 to 80 on the second hit. Wild Throw...
Why is it so small?
...had its damage reduced from
it's doing the health.
130 to 110.
Jonathan was bitching about this change yesterday. I really don't think this is a big change at all. It's going to feel like a lot of these changes, I think, will feel noticeable when you think about them, but not an actual win percentage, if that makes sense. Especially because most characters got nerfed, right? But like they're really obvious when you notice them.
Its damage.
But a ton of these changes, like Wild Throw, for example, Wild Throw did 100 damage in Season 3, and no one ever complained, oh, Wild Throw should do more damage, right? No, people didn't fucking complain about the damage being too low. But now that it's 10 more than it used to be, like, it's somehow, like, so no longer top tier.
10. Charge Stun Edge had its damage per hit reduced from 20 to 15, and from 22 to 16 in Shock State. Damage in Dragon Install stays the same. CSE in Dragon Install loses the ability to be inputted before the first one disappears, meaning the Kai Infinite is dead. H Vapor Thrust had its damage reduced from 80 to 70, and from 88 to 77 in Shock State.
Both of these are really small.
Sacred Edge had the chip damage of its final hit reduced in Shock State and Dragon.
Something worth noting is that it does matter more when it's like a super, or when it's a move you link multiple times, or if it's the starter. Starters, like if a starter gets reduced by 20, that's huge compared to like if an Ender is chained by 20. Because once the Ender hits, a lot of times it's so scaled that it's not going to change actually like 20 damage. You know, it's probably going to do like 5 less damage.
May's 5H had its damage decreased from 75 to 60. 6H...
Like May 5H is pretty noticeable, right? But like this change, which is like Char 6H, went down from 105 to 100. Like, this is a fucking joke, man. Like this is an actual joke.
Had its uncharged damage reduced from 75 to 60, and its charge damage reduced from 105 to 100. JH goes from 60 to 50. JD goes from 65 to 60. Great Yamada goes from 200 to 180.
Yeah, like, these changes barely change anything.
Axl actually gets a buff to Rainwater, decreasing its horizontal knockback and increasing launch height, letting him combo off of it easier. Axl Bomber's damage is decreased from 90 to 80. Wall Run P damage goes from 39 to 31. Wall Run Close Slash goes from 57.
So, interesting thing about Chipp is that only his wall run versions got changed, not his rope run.
7 to 45. Wall Run Far Slash goes from 45 to 36. Wall Run 5H goes from 63 to 50. And Wall Run 6H goes from 75 to 72. Zansei Roga gets a better upper hitbox for all but the final hit,
this one actually is a really big thing for consistency.
Potemkin is our first character to get significant changes, with the restoration of his Kara cancel technique among other changes to balance him out.
Dude, he gets
6K gets its momentum preservation restored, meaning Pot's Kara specials are back in full force.
They legit just fucking lied, by the way. Let me pull it up. They legit just fucking lied. Like they said, I don't even know. They said that they would balance the moves in in alignment with how he got Karas now, and that each move would not get the same Kara boost.
force.
But the
Some
cars are
preservation
stronger
restored.
than
They
they were
balance him out.
before.
Unique among other changes to balance him out. 6K gets its
Like, he
momentum
actually
preservation
gets
restored,
more
meaning Pot's Kara specials
boost
are
now
back in
than he
full
did
force.
before.
2H gets its damage reduced from 66 to...
And another thing that wasn't changed is that, like, before when you Kara back Mega Fisted, the move was more minus than it was if you didn't Kara it. So that you couldn't get plus, but now they forgot to do that.
62.
So now
6H
back
goes from
Mega
90
Fist
to
is
80.
broken.
Pot Buster goes down from
Even though
200
you
to
can do it with
175. Heat Knuckle is down from 100 to 80. Flick no longer activates if forward is held during the input, resulting in 6K instead. This means to get a Kara Flick, you need to press the K button twice, which, I'm not gonna lie, is kind of an awkward band-aid fix for this problem. Additionally, it's had a new hurt box added to make it easier to whiff punish, as it was extremely powerful last patch. Finally,
still
for Pot,
broken. It's still
HPV's
super
damage goes
distorted.
from 230 to 220.
Oh, wow. 10
Restoring the Kara
damage.
cancels
Yeah.
is really
Good
good and
job,
shows
man.
the devs are listening, but the adjustments made around it seem a little rushed.
Yo, what
Pot's
up,
going to
Aaron?
be
Thank you
even
so much.
more polarizing this patch, but
I
at least his
might agree
identity's
with you,
been
actually.
restored. Faust got a damage nerf on Hole-in-One's clean hit, going from 150 to 120.
That is
Other
crazy
than that,
this
a bunch
one
of items got
30
bug fixes, but
damage
that
nerf
was it.
out of everything.
Millia actually gets a defense buff, meaning she's no longer the lowest health character in the game. JD goes from 55 to 48 damage. Haircar also goes from 55 to 48. Artemis goes from 60 to 52. And Capel gets a nice recovery buff, restoring...
The Capel change is so ass. It is a horrible change. It's a horrible
some of its
change.
utility.
Like, last patch, they were like, we don't care that Millia isn't the strongest. Capel is a dumb fuck move design, so we're going to make it weaker so you don't spam it. Now they buffed it so much that Capel now is better than it ever was before. Like, it's significantly better than it ever was before. It's so fucking dumb.
Remlethal sees a significant list of well-deserved nerfs, aimed at reducing her potency without swords while also
Dude,
weakening the
the
swords
Ram
themselves
changes
slightly.
are big, but
Ram's
they're also
sword
super
attacks have had their
overplayed.
damage multiplier reduced from
She's
1.5
still
to 1.4,
fucking
meaning
insane.
every single sword attack sees around a 10% cut to its damage. That's gonna add up. Sword Toss has an increased wait duration before the swords return to Ramlethal, but they
Yeah.
move faster and get to her closer.
I think this is like 2 seconds
Damage
more.
with the sword throw also
But it
gets
does come
reduced
back
from 50
faster,
to
so
40.
it's only like
S-Toss
1.5
only
maybe.
loses its wall bounce. Dowro got increased startup, which is very
Dowro?
significant,
Dowro.
as now she can't combo from her K-normals into it. Ram's Rekka 1 gets increased repeated use juggle scaling, removing those silly Rekka 1
Jeez.
moves.
She can still wall back from like basically anywhere.
The third hit of Rekka had its guard crush duration reduced. And lastly, Calvados had its damage reduced and reallocated, from 1 times 29
Calvados was,
then
like,
180
really nerfed.
to 4 times 29.
It still does more damage than Motobato if they have low
Nine,
health
then
because it guts
additional
crushes, but
All in all,
Yeah,
these
it's-
nerfs are pretty significant. Removing 5k Dowro is the big one, but the increased sword duration and damage cuts are pretty huge too. And with the Rekka nerf,
Ram, whenever she can launch you, basically, she still gets wall to wall.
Ram's optimal routes will do less damage even
She's still broken as fuck.
This should even her out.
She's literally stronger now than she was in season 3. It's just that she was a literal god before.
Where she's supposed to be. These nerfs didn't pull any punches. Leo got damage nerfs, but also consistency fixes for his combo structure. HDP gets reduced knockback on its first and last hits, removing any fringe cases where he couldn't get into back turn. Sweat gets affected less by horizontal knockback scaling, meaning he'll keep his Oki better using it in a combo. Back turn P got reduced damage from 39 to 33.
Leo's
Back turn
back
K went from
damage
31 to
changes are actually
27.
kind of
Back turn
huge.
S goes from 36
But
to
he
30.
was so-
Back turn
he was
H
so
goes from
busted
54
last
to
patch, people just
48.
didn't know.
Command grab goes from 140 to 120.
She does have better
Blitzschlag
conversions
goes
than
from
Abigail
82
still.
to 75,
Just not from
and
K
finally,
buttons.
Stalwarble goes from 180 to 160. Nago loses the ability to Kara cancel 6k into
Dude, thank God we never got a Nago that like had execution, so that they
anything
did
other
this.
than a special, meaning he can't wave dash.
Like, this was actually
Nago
broken.
loses the
they just
ability to
never
Kara
learned it.
cancel 6k into anything other than a special, meaning he can't wave dash with FD anymore. Kind of a bummer, I thought this was cool. Blood Rage knocks back less on air block, meaning it is now punishable
Dude,
no
that
matter
was
how
so
you end
silly.
up blocking it. Geo's Enhanced Travail knocks back less on block, meaning you get a close slash instead of a far slash if the opponent FDs it.
He
Anji's
also is one of the only characters that got no damage nerfs.
JD had damage reduced from 52 to 42. Ko got its damage decreased from 25 plus 38
Ram's
to
probably super
20
rare for
plus
Ram.
30.
It's not,
He knows
it's not.
Chemical Love goes from 55 to 45 damage.
Ram lost some of the strength on some of her broken moves, mostly just reward. Like the biggest change from Ram is slightly less damage and worse reward from 2K and 5K. But every other move she has is still turbo broken. Like Far Slash is still insane, you know. You can still hit confirm Todaro. JH is still like NJ214K, 214S, 5H, 2S, 2D, 6P, like JP, like Sword Toss, everything like that is still turbo fucking broken.
K-Dive goes from 65 to 50. S-Dive also goes from 65 to 50. And
the Enid
H-Dive
nerfs
goes
for
from
whatever
14
reason are like
times
huge.
2 plus 26 to 10 times 2 plus 20 for uncharged, and from 13 times 4 plus 28 to 10 times 4 plus 20 when charged. Goldlewis got a small set of nerfs to reduce his power. 6H goes from 75 to 65 damage.
Irrelevant.
Behemoth Typhoon has its security gauge cooldown.
Dude, it's so dumb Golos didn't get like actual damage nerfs on his Behemoth. I have no idea why the fuck they didn't do that. It got a scaling nerf,
meaning it takes longer for the build-up to start after using a Typhoon cancel. It also had its damage scaling increased for all but 862 and 486.
but like it's still crazy,
624
man.
BT
He's
lost
still
the
so
wall bounce
broken.
off its back hit.
The Golos players are already starting to downplay, but like he's still a top 1 contender for
And
sure.
Skyfish got increased recovery. Goldlewis's nerfs are much more minor than Ram's, and while he is significantly affected by the guard crush changes, it's crazy to me to not see a damage reduction on BT. His damage potential is going to stay just as absurd, while everyone else's damage gets worse. I can't see him falling off in the meta in the slightest here. Jacko got her 2D's normal hit knockdown reverted, meaning she gets her Oki setup
Jacko's
back, but her counter hits are still worse than they were in Season.
dude, her 2D Oki is insane now. Like the 2D Oki is actually better than it ever was before.
3. Pretty solid change. Baiken's 6H goes down from 66 damage to 60. Testament actually sees some pretty significant buffs. Stain gets increased active duration before it naturally expires.
Jacko
And
has
Grave
somehow
Reaper got its
been
front
like one of the most successfully downplayed characters of all time.
Hurtbox removed. These changes seem minor, but the removal of Grave Reaper's frontal hurtbox makes it really hard for anyone who can't outrage Testament to deal with their fireballs, since they have uniquely unpunishable zoning, meaning you'll have to rely on YOLO jumps and buttons way more now, which will be really tough for short-range characters. This is really good for them. Sin gets a damage reduction on Hawkbaker's follow-up from
It's by the Y here. Oh my god, that's nothing.
62 to 50. Tyrant Barrel also gets reduced damage for each
Tyrant Barrel lost for the level 3. It lost 14. Okay.
hit level. 1 going from 98 to 80,
That's
2 going
not
from 115 to
much
103,
at all.
and clean hit or level 3 going from 149 to 126. Johnny only gets Angsanga's damage
23,
reduced from
it's
80 to 60.
not a lot for the end of a
Elphelt gets a
combo.
small rework to Bomb Bomb in the air, giving it decreased duration before the explosion, but allowing the explosion to trigger if breaking the wall with a gun attack, and making the explosion hit later during a counter hit. Abba's Danzai's second hit had its damage reduced from 93 to 70. The Law is Kiki is King had its final hit damage decreased for all 3 levels, with level 1 going from 30 to 20, 2 going
This
from 40
change is
to
huge
20,
for whatever reason. Like, why is this reduced by 30?
and 3 going from 70 to 40. Slayer's Pile Bunker got its damage reduced from 90 to 80. Dizzy Saw
Dude, like that's all you do for Slayer, man. It still does more damage than it did previous patch. Good
70 to
fucking
40.
job, Arxis,
Slayer's
man.
Pile Bunker got its damage reduced from 90 to 80. Dizzy saw bug fixes related to ice, but Roasting Chestnuts also got a small rework. The first hit is now a strike, meaning she can't loop it forever on offense, but the projectile is now a hard knockdown. Additionally, it got a new projectile clash by the hands and a bigger hitbox. So that's the Season 4.3 Christmas patch. I think they did a pretty good job here, weakening the most messed up things about Season 4 and buffing those left behind. But there are some minor issues I have. Goldlewis staying as untouched as he did seems crazy to me, and I don't think Pot's minor nerfs are going to account for how strong he'll be with Kara cancels back, especially since they didn't change Garuda back to be FDable. I think we're going to have a very big body-centric meta after this patch, which is wild considering how consistent the game's big bodies have always been. For now, though,
Good video, but I don't think they did a good job. This patch screams of a B patch. Is how I like to put it. Like, it's really obvious that they don't give a flying like the people at the top of Arxis do not give a fuck about this game anymore. They do not give a fuck. Like, they are putting all their resources onto their new game or whatever the fuck, right? They do not give a single care about this game. And you can tell because all the changes you look here, they're just number changes. They're literally like this is how much they changed it. Oh, post 245, 290. All right. Good game is good now. Like you do a massive complete rework on Soul that most of the Soul player base hates. Fafnir looks like it shouldn't be that fast, etc. And you're like, yeah, but I changed the numbers back. Right? Like if you look at all these changes, all they fucking did was they just tuned a few numbers. Because they like I don't think they have anyone working on the game anymore, so they can't redesign moves. Right? They can't change actual problems with character design because they have so few people working on it that all they can do is change damage values. And like the Kara thing, Pot Kara is so fucking horribly designed. Like I'm going to show it more, but like it is so insane that Pot just gets universal damage nerfs and not even big ones. Like, bro, Crouching Heavy does 4 less damage and you don't even start with Crouching Heavy with Pot combos. Like, you do Close Touch then Crouching Heavy. Like the damage nerfs are so tiny. And he gets more damage because he has Karas, so he can do Kara Rouse more. They're doing all the characters at once. No, they just don't give a shit anymore, man. Season 3 was already a fucking terrible patch. Season 3.5 was bad. 375 was super fucking delayed. 375 was a decent patch, but it was so incredibly delayed. Like they admitted that it was supposed to come out like in spring and it came out in August. Right? And then the October patch was delayed. Season 3 was delayed. Sorry, not Season 3. 3v3 was delayed and instantly died. I'm going to show you guys something. We're going to look at... They put... Like, Season 3... Like, 3v3 mode is dead as fuck. It was more or less flawless. Like, it actually worked very well. It's just a horrible concept that never should have been made. Because no one fucking wants to play that shit. Like, it's a casual mode when the game is, like, really fucking old, right? When do you think 3v3 came out? When do you think 3v3 came out? If you... It's not here. I'll tell you that already. This is not 3v3. I think this is when 3v3 came out. Like legit a half-day bump. Barely noticeable bump. And then it went straight back. Like the game has been doing so badly. Like, you know, it's not had a massive fall off or anything, but like, you know, it's definitely gone from like having pretty high peaks and then slowly drifting off, and then viewership is super down as well. It's not dead for sure, but like with every game that comes out, oh shit, you can't see. My bad, bro. Okay. All right, I'll do it again. I don't know why the fuck it stopped working. What? There you go. Why is it just dying? Okay, I'll just display capture. Okay, where do you think 3.3 came out? It's not here. I'll tell you that. This is Dizzy. I think 3.3 was here. Like the game instantly died. Like the game mode. It instantly died. They spent all their fucking resources on this dog shit mode. Like, it's incredible how off they are on what the game needs. See here, November 18, 3.3. Yeah, it's like somewhere around here. Okay, it was that bump, not this bump, I guess. Like, oh my god, man. No, it's gonna be on the Switch. Oh, 3 is not gonna be on the Switch. I'm curious, how much does Tekken have? Damn, what the fuck? There's so many negative reviews. Why are the reviews so negative for Tekken? Okay, Tekken has actually fallen off more than I thought it did. But it's still healthy for sure. Like it's hovering around like 9, 8. Street Fighter 6. Damn, like look at Street Fighter 6. It's incredible, by the way, how much of this is just in Japan. Like if you look at this is when Japan is like Japanese players get home. This is when it peaks. Like Street Fighter 6 is probably legit smaller than Tekken 8 is in the rest of the world. It's just absurdly big in Japan. It is insane how big it is in Japan. Grand Blue is pretty much dying, right? I mean, Grand Blue is... I've never liked Grand Blue Racing. Damn, this is really bad for a game with that's a free version. Holy shit. Like, if you don't know, you can play Grand Blue Racing, like, basically free, with just limited roster. Yikes. 2x KO save us, man. I'll play a little bit more Strive for now. Tomorrow, I think I'll start tomorrow by just playing a bunch of I'll do a bunch of what's it called? Clive tomorrow. Welcome. This is about to be my last tier list. This might be my last tier list. If this is not my last tier list, I'll be sad. It probably won't be though. I would probably try the next version of Guilty Gear Strive as a casual and then make a tier list about it. But it might be my last serious tier list for Strive. Depending on how good the game is later, right? Like if the game is awful, then I won't play it unless it's super awful in a funny way, so we can make content out of it. Wait, why is this chat so big? Hi YouTube. All right, let's make this tier list. There is no terrible hello. Today we are once again doing a tier list because this is what people want apparently. Guilty Gear Strive has always been about the characters, not the players. No one gives a shit about who won Evo. Everyone cares about what character won Evo. So let's talk about the characters. D is Dizzy tier, the worst character in the game. Not unusable, but bad. You can lose to her. Doesn't change the fact that she's bad. There are no strong players maining Dizzy though, so it's hard to say, but also there's no strong Dizzy players because no one thinks she's worth the time. Next up is Axl Zato, so Jonathan Tenney doesn't kill me. And is there anyone else? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm going to go relatively fast because most people know at this point why Sato's bad. Sato was over-nerfed in the beginning of Season 3. Was promised new special move, has not got a new special move. Axl is a Sonar. Arxis, the people that develop Arxis are extremely grappler biased and big body biased. So they don't want Axl and Dizzy and Zato to be good. All characters are viable. They're all viable, but not all of them are good. The thing with Strive is that the difference between Dizzy and a B tier character is not that big. The difference between a B tier character and S tier is pretty big. I don't even know who's next, honestly. Like, that's how balanced the lower tier of the game is, I think. Like, outside of these, there is no bad character, I think. Like, no other character that clearly needs help. Next up is probably Faust. That's probably what I would say. Faust is, he's fine. His new move is actually pretty good too. I think he's mostly here because I don't know who else to pick. Asuka? No. Asuka is... No. He's not next either. I don't know who's next though. It's not Millia. Millia got quite a couple of decent buffs. This is hard. Fine, I'll put Testament. Testament's also in a way better spot. I still think they're a little bit underwhelming once people know how to play against them. But right now, they probably feel like a high B tier character because they actually work very well now. It's just that if you know perfectly how to fight them, they do have some rough matchups, and like right now they're abusing the fact that no one knows how to play against them a bit. But I think they're underrated for sure. Happy Chaos next, probably. Listen, man. I would get fucking death threats for the rest of my life. I think we put Ino here. I think Ino is kind of hard to rate because there's just no good Inos in the West. So I could be very wrong on this. I know Japan thinks she's better and they have the best Ino. So very possible that I'm wrong on this one. Then I think I will pick Millia. Millia actually got a ton better in the patch. Capel is just like absolute dog shit design. Like it's easily the one of the worst changes I've seen. Like, oh my god, they nerfed Capel because it was being too toxic, and then they just turbo buffed it the patch after. It's one of the worst design moves I've seen in a very long time. And single-handedly like carries this character despite her like damage flaws and like low health. It's just so fucking broken. Who put Asuka here? Asuka could honestly be like here, but I also think you could be higher. This character is still super downplayed. He was a top tier in every version of the game until this one, like until season 4. He was maybe the best character when he came out. We just didn't know yet, and Gobo didn't travel in 2.5. Then he was one of the best characters in 3.0. Infinite block strings, wild assault, blah, 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 blah. Infinite health. Mana card that lasted 15 seconds. Auto draw lasted like 10 or whatever the fuck. Then in 3.5, he was still fucking broken, just less broken than Goldlewis and May and the DPRC characters, but insanely broken character still. Like, still wins from just making you block full screen. You have to bum rush him, and bum rushing him is hard because he hits you and you can't burst, and then you have to block for 30 seconds with 13 high lows. And he is the highest health character in the game at that point. And then in 375, you couldn't wall break him anymore. Like, you couldn't keep Oki on him anymore, and he had a super that literally skipped neutral if you wall broke him. And for some reason, people just forgot that because they didn't fight many Asukas in 375, but he was insanely broken in 375. Insanely broken. You literally could not hit him and kill him because he had infinite health, and you couldn't loop Oki on him anymore. Like, for some reason, people realized that Happy Chaos got way better with no walls of hard knockdown, but they didn't realize that Asuka did as well. Now he did get nerfed, but I still think he is much better than people like to admit, and there's just not that many good Asuka players still playing the character. But I think that if they still did, they would still have good results. And people like Druis still have pretty much the same results. And I've been playing as this character a decent amount. He definitely has problems now, but you know, you can definitely overcome them with knowledge checks, which is a thing he does have access to, right? Like, he can absolutely just win because your opponent wasn't super ready for him to draw a card or steal a turn. After that, I'll put Bridget. I think Bridget is very slept on and actually very fucked up on offense. But I'm still a little bit unsure. This is probably a bit lower take, but there's just isn't that many good Bridget players in the West outside of Super Noon. Her offense right now is just like completely fucking brain dead if you don't have a DP. All the old counterplay that we used to have with like RPSing with 6P and backdash just does not exist now. Another great case of Arxis removing defensive depth and just making it so that it's a pure guess, 50-50 high or low. Yeah, very stupid. Only problem is like lower health, but I think there's a very high chance Bridget is even higher, like maybe even low A tier. Put Jacko. People have been telling me Jacko could be here, could be A. I don't know. I'll put it top. I'll put it A tier. I've changed my mind. I think Bedman's here. Bedman's also like very slept on character because there aren't any good ones in NA. Very, very fucked up character. Infinite health. Fucking White Wild Assault still broken on him. Because of how Arrow works. The new Arrow super is really fucking good. Gets fucked up Oki now. Like unreactable high-low into full combo. Left, right out the wazoo. Like amazing super with super like with the neutral skip super that lasts through wall break now, and then also has a super PRC that's fucked up. A very underrated character in the West. Put Abba somewhere here too. Abba's just really hard to rate because solo Abba is like here. But I think Abba is slept on because she is the characters that beat Abba are Soners, and Soners all suck right now, relative to how good they should be. So that's basically why she's better than you'd think. Is that her natural counters don't exist, and if you're able to have counter picks with her, like if you're able to run a secondary for some of her worst matchups, then she's up here. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? It's actually really hard to put the next character, I think. Not Kai. Kai is still too safe. I'll put Geo. I think Geo is better, but still not that strong. Sorry. Geo's better than Jacko, but not by an extreme amount. Yeah, Geo didn't get any damage nerfs is the main reason. They just forgot about her damage nerfs. So she still does a gazillion damage. But she doesn't have Guard Crush Strike Throw anymore. On the other hand, there's no DPOC, which is a nerf. So yeah. Who's next? I think the next couple characters are all like in together with me, where it's like Kai, Baiken, Elphelt, and Chaos are all in this next chunk where I don't know who's the best here. Yeah. These are, I think, I'm gonna be nice for once. I'm gonna put Chaos here. I'm gonna put Chaos the highest. I think he has worse matchups than these guys do, like on paper, but I think the fact that he can knowledge check and like force his game plan is a bit more important than absolute knowledge check. But Elphelt is completely brain dead, just has a dog shit player base. Baiken also doesn't have that many strong players, but there are still players like LK and Kermit in NA, for example. There's Umaman in Japan. Baiken low key incredibly good. I think I'm gonna put Baiken over Elphelt because she's more stable. Elphelt's just fucking flip a coin, man. Like if you're like just put a parlay on fucking, you know, LeBron's rebounds. Like why are you gambling in fucking Strive when you could just be doing it on DraftKings? Not sponsored, by the way. This is a joke. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end this tier here. I'm gonna put Slayer here. I think. I don't know if Slayer. It's hard for me because the Slayer player base is so bad. How bad do I think they are? And here's the thing, like, people say that this is not how they make tier list. This is how you have to make tier list. You have to make an assessment on how good and how pushed you think how much the player base pushes the character if you want to, like, actually base your opinion in reality and, like, factor results in at all. I think I'm gonna put Slayer in bottom of S. I feel like he still exemplifies the put very little work in and get a fuck ton of reward. And especially if you factor in any other circumstance than like ideal circumstances, like you wake up late, there's no AC in the venue, the monitors are laggy, right? They take an ad break in the middle of the tournament and you have to wait. Your momentum is like in any reality that isn't perfect, which is basically every reality, right? Where tournaments run like shit. Slayer goes up like from A to S, right? And obviously, if you're casual, Slayer is one of the best characters in the game. Who's next? I'll put Ram here. I think Ram players downplay her so much. Like they act like she actually isn't top tier still just because she isn't the god she was last patch. Like, dude, she still doesn't have any bad matchups. Like she might lose to like Goldlewis or Pot, but like she doesn't get destroyed like the most characters. She still makes you block left, right, high, low, strike, throw from a far slash. And if you get hit by a far slash, like you get wall broken from anywhere on the screen. Normal hit far slash that they buffed the range of. Anyone that tells you that this RAM version is not massively stronger than 375, which is before her remake, is trolling. On the other hand, if we compare like a character like Chaos or Slayer, right? Both these characters are objectively significantly weaker than 375 because neither of these characters got health buffs and they both got significant move nerfs. Slayer lost a reversal, Chaos lost clone. And she was competitive with these characters before and she became way fucking stronger. I don't even... She might... Like they're next to each other, but I think Ram is significantly stronger. Let me put Soul here in between as well. I think this character is a character that I actually think is low-key super broken and just slept on. But I'll be nice to the dog shit ass Soul players for once. He does happen to have bad matchups versus like the two best characters right now. But outside of that, I don't really think he has any that bad matchup. He doesn't have a weakness anymore. They removed like every flaw he ever had. The only thing is that if he hits airborne backslash right now, he doesn't get that much of a reward. And his neutral skip is slightly weaker when it comes to Banner Revolver and Vortex, but his other ones are better. Yeah, giving Soul a full combo, safe on block, like -2 special ender is certainly a choice. A fucking horrible choice. There's just worse character designs over him. I'll put Chipp next. I think Chipp is very slept on still in the West. Sonda showed some of the tech. He's very, very, very good. Potential-wise, he's higher than this. But in reality, because humans are flawed, I think he ends up somewhere around here. Best low health character by far. Like he's next to him, but I think there's a like sizable jump here. Because on a good day, Chipp is like closer to the top, whereas Ram, I think, is pretty solidly here. Who's next? It's probably the lowest I'll ever put May. This is probably because this placement is probably wrong, and it's probably just because Slash hasn't been playing. But I think the main nerf that even matters is the normals being a bit slower, which makes her round sword a bit worse, and her dolphin RPS a little bit worse. She still does more damage this season 3, where she already did a gazillion damage. I think the other characters have just been buffed more by season 4 than she has. Even though she got buffed, like she wasn't buffed as much as these characters. Let's make number 1 contender still slightly ordered. Vaguely ordered. So for this tier, this is not to say that these characters are way better than Mei. This is to say that I can't make an argument for why Mei is the best. I can't make an argument for why Chipp is the best. The only character here I can actually make an argument for is Soul, just because we know so little about Soul in the West, and because Soul players in the West are terrible fucking down players. So it's hard. Like, I could see myself be wrong on him just because of less info. Um, who would I put here? I think I put Anji. I think Anji is matchup spread wise maybe the best or one of the best outside of the fact that he loses to Pot. Pot just destroys him. So that's the biggest issue. That probably actually puts him down here. Not think about it. Because of how hard Pot destroys him, I don't think he can be the best. But he is the worst character. Like, I don't say this lightly. Anji Mito is the most irredeemable character design I have ever seen in any fighting game I have ever played or laid my eyes on. I have literally never seen a worse character design. Not once. You do not know how much it fucking takes me to say that there is a worse character design than current Potemkin and Goldlewis. That is really fucking hard. That is you main him in plus R? I don't fucking main anyone plus R. I don't play plus R. How? What does that matter, bro? I got like 100 hours in plus R at most. If that. I got 35. He's not even the same character. Anji in those games is not even comparable to those characters. This is one of the worst fucking examples I've ever seen of a fighting game design. It's just a complete embarrassment. And the person that is responsible for Anji's rise from the worst character in the game on launch to this character without actually changing how he works, him still being a spin bot, and then just buffing the spin so that it has zero counterplay whatsoever. If an Anji player tells you spin has counterplay, they are dog shit liars. It does not have counterplay. It is an extremely simple high or low / strike, like, take your turn, just do strike another time. Extremely simple. Some characters can't even fucking punish Nagia on block, in which case the matchup is instantly doomed because there is no counterplay to spin in neutral. The only thing you can do to spin is dash block and throw it. But half the cast doesn't have a good dash block. And out of the characters that have a good dash block, few of them have good throws. And the thing is that now that everyone has so much more health, throws do so little fucking damage that unless you have a broken throw damage plus broken dash block plus broken OK from throw, you just don't matter. Like, you don't do enough. Luckily, all the 5 characters that are left outside of Sin have a broken ass throw. But even among these characters, there are people that struggle with spin, like Nago and Johnny still heavily struggle with spin. Anji has an insane amount of health, insanely simple. Yeah, he's literally, he is, if not even modern from Street Fighter 6. He's if like the dynamic mode in Street Fighter, right? Where like you press a button and like it picks for you, picks the attack for you. Is as if dynamic was better than most of the other cast. Like dynamic Honda is better than like 80% of the Street Fighter cast. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, number one contenders. Sin is currently the character I'm the lowest on. I think Sin is on paper one of the best character matchup spread wise. Weak player base overall, not many good Sin players, but I think for me, the reason why I think he has the weakest argument is because I think what matters more in Strive a lot of the time is not just pure matchup spread, it's knowledge checks and like how familiar you are, how weird of a character you are, and I think Sin does that the worst of the remaining characters. Next up for me, it's a tie between Johnny and Nago. Today I'm feeling lower on Johnny, but I change my opinion every day. Johnny's the character I've been playing. I think Johnny's a hard character to rank because I think people both suck against him and the Johnny players suck, or like haven't developed him enough. So that's why he's a bigger question mark to me than most characters. Because what makes Johnny truly broken is in the small margins of like how loopable is his offense, how much can you do about his mix-ups. Even slight adjustments to these things change actually a lot about him. So that's why I think that he could very easily hit a critical mass and become the number one character, or people could find out like that like just by becoming really fucking good at RPSing with his really dumb shit, you can turn the risk reward enough to where he has a similar-ish problem of like Anji, where he does it like he can gamble, but having to gamble when you don't have the absolute highest health in the game is a problem, right? He still doesn't have a meterless reversal, even though he has a broken backdash and super. It's not as good as having like Leo DP, right? And he doesn't have the health of Nago, Goldlewis, Pot. He doesn't do as much damage as those do either. I haven't played Strive for 2 years. Has the game evolved goodly or badly? Goodly is certainly not what I would describe it. It has developed very bad. Next up, we had Nago, as we said. He didn't get any fucking damage nerfs. The Nago mains are downplaying this character as if he's not the fucking most perennial top tier. Like, if you're a Nago main or a Leo main, you are absurdly fucking lucky. Also Goldlewis mains, but we'll talk about that later. The fact that a character like Nago has never been outside of top tier, he's never even smelled high tier, is a fucking insanity. He's a big body, no dash, no air movement grappler. And just by pure chance, he has never gotten a significant nerfs because the developers love him that much. Like, he's slept on in America just because Hotashi doesn't play much Nago, and Numenheimer plays Pot for fun. Like, this character is absurdly fucking broken. He can combo into his command grab that resets his full fucking gauge. He can Kara command grab, and they just don't do it because they're lazy. Like, what? The highest reward command grab in the game outside of Pot Buster. He can just slide with it now, and they don't do it. No, they didn't patch it out. He can still command grab. Zero flaw character. Has Oki and round start still versus the entire cast. White wall assault. Does a gazillion fucking damage. His cash out combos they do so much fucking damage now. So much fucking damage now. Like when he spends all of his blood and then he does the blood super, like, dude, oh my god, we have to find this clip. Like, what was the clip for Strive?
Yeah.
There was one of the clips where Jack played.
Tried to go for
Oh, this is top 48.
good to see IP. The quick
Where the Nago combo. It was like an absolutely fucking insane amount of damage.
Picking up that plate. Sodium, go crazy. Goes the far slash able to find at the very tip the hit that he needs. Busting. 5P. Lead. Better.
Yeah, I think it was this. This is the one I was thinking about. Like, absolutely just horseshit amounts of damage. Wait, what the fuck happened?
It's never bad time to burst like Mounts. Set point. Hit far slash able to find at the very backdash to the far.
So in this scenario, right, Nago has already spent all of his blood. He's like here if time passes, right? See how much blood he's already had. Far slash.
Able to find at the very tip the hit that he needs.
He's gonna pop.
Busting. 5P. Lead. Better.
That like overkill by a crazy amount. Looks balanced to me. It's extremely high risk. If you can't do this combo and you have an opinion on top level fighting game strength, maybe you should just stick to having fun, man. Okay, next up. Oh yeah, but yeah, the fact that Nago didn't get any damage nerfs is just a complete fucking joke. I'm gonna put Goldlewis here. I think Goldlewis is unbelievably broken, easy to play. I just think he's very slightly, argument-wise, worse than these two, because Pod is the better big body and Leo's the better solid character. Yeah, it's just fucking unbelievable what they did with Goldlewis. The nerfs he got were like to call them a slap on the wrist is like mean towards slaps on wrists. Like he barely fucking got touched. They didn't nerf his damage from most of his regular starters. And even the ones that they do, he still does a gazillion damage. I think we checked Otaku, which was pre-patch, and then we like went back and looked at like, okay, how many rounds would have been decided about with the new changes or the new chip changes? Like none of the rounds would have changed. He's still the same. Yeah, you've probably heard me talk about Goldlewis a gazillion times, so we don't need to. Leo back turn is just like insanely broken now, and his 214S on block, it's just a complete joke. Like, if you get hit by 214S, you explode, and if you block it, he gets to RPS with back turn normals, and his back turn is invisible now for some reason, and he can dash into normals. He gets 3-way left, right, high, low from fucking every hit in back turn now. He still has God neutral dash, like his dash block's still one of the best fireball. Fucking broken ass guard point 2D, one of the best throws in the game. Broken dash momentum, so like dash close slash like keeps you super close in unreactable strike throw range. Broken DP, broken super PRC, broken YRC, like just insanely broken. Like, he's just so blessed. Whoever the fuck designs Leo, like, like, just please don't design another character, man. Like him being able to dash and back turn actually removed all the counterplay back turn had. It's just so sick that they just keep removing defensive depth over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then we have Potemkin. Potemkin went from the worst character in the game, or close to the best. And turns out that wasn't great. That was not very good. Turns out there's a reason why people don't want the slow big body grappler to be the best. Strive has some very rough characters as number one. We have had Soul, who had TODs on everyone from a far slash, a +4 far slash on FD, unwhiff punishable DP, Bandit Bringer that was plus 5k that was 3 frames and killed you. We've had Habit Chaos, Soning. We've had -5 2D Leo with 4-way mix-up from everything. Even better than current Leo mix-ups. We've had Season 2, we had God Nago with godlike neutral and like didn't take more damage from neutral hits. Then we had God Asuka and God Mei. Then we had 3.0 Soul and 3.0 Asuka. Then we had 3.5 Goldlewis and DPRC Mania. Then we had Slayer in 375. And then we had Ram and Goldlewis in Season 4. And I have never seen people complain as much as when they play against current pot. Even when people are not losing versus pot, because the player base is so ass, people still bitch about pot. And for casuals, it's just like completely gutting. Like, if you're a casual and you play against current pot, it's just like hopeless. You can't win. You can't. He has too like. He's too badly designed. Like, it doesn't matter about him being the best or not. Even if he was just like top 10 levels of strength, he would still be the most cancerous character to fight for most players. But he also just is the best. Like, when you watch top level pot gameplay, they are literally doing the thing that people used to do on floor 5 when Strive launched as a joke. They are mashing Pop Buster on Wake Up and on defense. And it's the best defensive option in the game. It's legit as strong as having a DP, while also being the best offensive tool in the game. And the best round start in the game too. Because, yeah, for some reason, they thought, you know, slow grapplers are designed that are supposed to struggle to get in, and then once they get in, they are supposed to do a lot of damage, right? And they're often bad on defense, like Zangief is bad on defense, and they're often bad in neutral. And they thought, what if, you know, when you start the game, your opponent is already guessing for Pop Buster versus Strike, so that me, a dumb Pop main, don't have to work for my wins. And then you also gave him godlike defense. And then you also give him the best neutral skip in the entire game, which is Hammerfall RC. And then you give him like 7 more of the best neutral skips RC, like Heat Tackle and the wall. Oh my god, the wall, dude. The Potemkin's, like, the Gigantic High Wall, it's one of the worst made specials I've ever seen, man. Who thought it was good that you could put out a wall that never disappears, has 0 counterplay for most characters, and then you also get a high-low guard crush strike throw from it if they block it. And then if you don't block and you get hit, then Pot gets an unburstable combo that does 80%. And then if they stand there and they're waiting to block it, he can also command grab you and throw you. Like, he command grabs you and then gets a combo from Pot Buster that already does half health. Like, it's just incredible, man. Yeah, you can't contest JD. His jump buttons are fucking broken. His ground normals are broken. They lead to hard knockdown. Hammerfall break is broken. Garuda is the best offensive move in the game. Like the only thing holding back Potemkin from dominating the game is the dogshit player base. Like, there are good Pot players, but they're not that common, and that is why we don't see Pot dominate. And very few players that want to put in time and find it fun to do wake up Pot Buster that often. And we also all hope and expect Pot to be nerfed, but he's legit unfixable at this point. Like, they're not reworking him again. And there's no way to tune his numbers to not be like top 10. You can't just, like, they're not going to make Pot have less health than Chipp, right? So unless they do that, he's going to be top 10. I missed the best Pot. I forgot his name. He won't take the showdown with the Pot. This is really funny because we just brought up NA bias last time before. Where, like, even though Snake S did way less than every other Pot, he won one NA tournament, and so people think he's the best. It's a small regional. Andros by far the GOAT. There's no Pot GOAT. Andros hasn't won like a big tournament. He won now when Pot is top 1, but like you could argue that Consummate doing well earlier means more, or the Snake Eyes, or that Fab or A-Boy winning on other versions of Pot. Like, it doesn't fucking matter, bro. None of them are good enough to be considered the best player in the world. But there's a couple people that are great players, or, you know, great performers. Yeah, I'm saying great performance because, listen, man, if you only do well in Season 4 of Pot, is that you or is that the character? You don't know, and we don't know. Actually, no, if you only, like, if you didn't do well in previous Season of Pot, or Strive in general, and then you don't do well past Season 4, then we know, actually. But hopefully Pot mains can grow from this experience of playing a top 1. I like Strive, but I can't take this game seriously anymore. Same. What do you think is the best alternative game? We wait for 2SQ. Until then, we play single player or other multiplayer games. Ano's been doing good. Ano's is a good player. He would not be known, not because he is too good, but because he's a European player who's good, if he did not play Pot. As in, like, until Chaotic Cup, no one in the West, or like no one in the rest of the world would have given a shit, because people don't give a shit about European players unless they play Pot or like a low tier. Would I return to uni? No. Game is not big enough. Metaphor's goated. I tried playing Metaphor, and then I just like saw how it's just like ham-fisted Persona mechanics. Like when you get to the first dungeon and there's like a big coup of people trying to steal shit from the palace, and then they're like, "But wait a minute, you have 10. It's gonna take 10 days for him to steal a chalice from the palace, so you have 10 days to do whatever the fuck you want." I was just like, "Come on, man! Like, Jesus fucking Christ, bro! Like, are you just making the same game again?" And turns out they are. Reskin Persona. Yeah. You should play Metaphor if you want more Persona. Or Persona in a different setting. Alright, I think we're done with the tier list. Overall, the worst Strive meta we've ever had. For its time. Like, obviously, if we went back in time now, like, we would be more bored by Season 1. Because Season 1 has less characters. But, an absolute joke. My only solace in this game is that there's not a pop player qualified because they weren't good enough before he was God, and that after Arc World Tour I don't have to play this game anymore. I have nothing tying myself to this game anymore. I can play Fatal Fury, or I mean, if Strive magically becomes better, then I can play Strive, obviously, but not having anything that ties me to this game anymore will be a fucking relief. I've been thinking about playing Triangle Strategy off stream, but we'll see. I struggle with playing regular turn-based RPGs. I think the asymmetrical style, or like the top-down style, is way more interesting to me because it actually has depth. Very few of the like Persona, Pokemon-based games have depth when it comes to single-player games. Like obviously, like competitive Pokemon has depth, but like when you're fighting the gyms, it does not have depth, right? Oh my god, man. What a world. I just get mad when I look at this tier list, bro. I could just copy this, right? I wonder if Arc System knows about this. I think they know many people consider Pot the best. I don't think they care. You didn't capitalize I. Your parents never loved you, bro. Loser. I'm sorry. But really, who types that, bro? Only reason I'm keeping up with Strive at this point is for the music. Bro, use Spotify, man. They got that shit in America. Or whatever you're from. Don't put yourself through this just for Spotify. Oh, I get mad just looking at this shit, man. Pop being top 1 does not help new players. Yeah, dude. Look at Cody, man. This is bottom 1 pot, by the way. Come at.
You are literally the scum of humanity, and I hope that you actually fail out of high school.
This is bottom 1 pot, and you're gonna sit here and tell me that Cash was like Potemkin. Even when he's the worst character in the game, this is what he does to casuals.
I'm not interested
All right.
in left right mix up.
I'm not rating you guys. I'm freeing you guys from watching more Strive. Goodbye. I'm gonna go eat.